Hello and welcome to this week's Old School Q&A. Hope you're having a wonderful week. I'm your host Mod Gambit, and this week I'm joined on the couch by Mod Kieran.
You alright?
Mod Ash.
Hello.
Mod West.
Hey.
And on the end there we have a new face, which is Mod Acorn. Say hello everybody.
Hello.
So, as there's a new face, we'll start with you, Acorn. Welcome, first of all, to the team.
This is your initiation. Now you get now you got the hardest maths
really.
questions of history.
So I guess we'll start with your role. So what are you going to do for us on the Old School team?
Right, so I'm going to be the new Old School community manager. So, hi everyone. What I'll be doing is working with Mod Gambit on things like the blogs, the posts, engaging with the community, talking to you guys, posting on Reddit, I'd imagine, any social media, and taking in ideas that you guys have, feeding them back to the devs, and then bringing that back to you guys.
Awesome. What did you do before?
Yeah, so I'm not new. I assume most of you may have already realised that. I used to work in the anti-cheating team that was banning bots and real-world trading, things like that. So I've moved over now to community management, and I was doing that for about a year and a half now.
Great. I noticed lots of Monka S in the chat now that you mentioned anti-cheating. We're not now down an anti-cheating specialist, are we? You have been sort of filled in for on that team, so.
Yes, so my position has been filled.
Okay, excellent, good. So don't start botting, guys. We are still watching. What's your history with Old School then? Have you been playing long?
Yeah, so I've been playing RuneScape since 2005. So I've been playing for quite a long time, pretty much on religiously, almost every day. I do play Old School every night, most likely every night if you see me. So yeah, quite well versed, I'd imagine.
And you come to RuneFest and everything before you were a JMAD, so.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favourite content in game then? What do you spend most of the time doing when you play?
So right now, most of the time I do is farming contracts. I hate to say that I'm addicted to them, but there's times where I just log in and stare at the herb patch that I had to plant and wait for it, for it to grow.
That's how farming works.
But I do love it. It's probably one of the best things that I've had to do recently, and normally farming's a grind, but it just makes it really fun.
That's great. Yeah, no.
Can I drop them in on your secret about your account and how limited it is?
If you want to, you can go ahead.
Mod Acorn has chosen to do a 10 HP skiller, and hence is unable to participate in a lot of content.
Well, I do raids as a 10 HP skiller, so I might not be the best in it, but I do try.
If you ever don't shoot,
I'm sure you contribute massively to Arm. Leecher.
Okay, so we'll hit you with the usual newbie question, which is if you could change anything about the game unpolled, what would you change?
Clan system, hands down. There's so many times where I want to be in 2 different chats at the same time, and I want to talk to people, but then I have to go, if I want to go do something with a clan elsewhere, or I want to do something with friends, I can't do it at the same time, like talking wise. So I'd definitely change clan system if I could.
Sure. I reckon a lot of the players agree with you.
I reckon a lot of us agree with
what's not to like?
For sure. Cool. So in the chat, it's !new mod, I believe, will take you to Mod Acorn's Twitter. In case it doesn't, it's jagex acorn. There's your free plug.
Thanks.
And I guess the last thing we want to ask you is, what are you looking forward to most update-wise this year?
In 2019, I'd probably have to say warding. I know that there's some hesitation around it, but I'm quite looking forward to it after having numerous conversations with Mod West about warding. I'd say that it's looking really exciting for me, especially with my limited account, but also just it sounds really fun, and I'm really excited to work on that project with Mod Sween and yourself to then deliver that like news to the players, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, it's worth noting, obviously, right now, all you guys have is basically what we announced at RuneFest. We have more information than that, and it's going to be coming, obviously, over the course of the coming months, so we'll get information to you so that you can actually start to realise what's the potential of this skill and what can we do with it.
Though while we have West here, would you like to tease anything? Like what you teased to me earlier?
Oh, what I teased you earlier? I can't remember what I teased you earlier.
Well, I can't really tell them without teasing myself.
The robes.
Oh, the robes. Oh, right, yeah.
robes.
So something that players have been wanting for quite some time now are the Dagon High robes. So this seems like a perfect opportunity for warding. Like, I mean the magic robes, the sort of fitting is sort of a perfect opportunity, really. So yeah, that'd be cool. And many other opportunities for other high-level robes as well. So yeah, I'm sort of doing that at the moment, just sort of going through some sort of more high-level content for warding itself, because I think the main concern for warding was it was very low-level sort of pitch with not much information about the high-end rewards. So yeah, sort of just going over that now and sort of sifting through all the feedback, and yeah, it's good. It's good.
Also, I just want to shout at the guy who just before we went live said, "Give us West," and it's the one stream you happen to be on.
Kind of rare place nowadays. So yeah,
Oh.
unfortunate.
We need to change that.
Yeah, well, it's because I leave a bit earlier now, so it's sort of a bit awkward to always come in every week. But
So if we were to reschedule the 5 o'clock stream for like 4:30, so you could get more West, maybe you'd find it worth it.
that'd be great.
If you go too West, you end up on Zaya.
Yep.
Great.
I'm always on there.
Ha-has on the chat.
So yeah, we look forward to seeing what both yourself, West, and Acorn produce with warding, and hearing more about it. So for the time being, I'm going to thank you, Mod Acorn, for your time. I'm going to bring in a super sub, which is, well, you'll see in a second. But yeah, no, great meeting you, and we look forward to seeing what you get up to.
Thank you. See you guys.
Now we have the notorious 30-second cringe period of switching out of
I
person.
will try and fill the awkward gap, and welcome Mod Bruno to the couch. Hello. So yeah, again, it's !new mod to follow what Mod Acorn gets up to. At JagXAcorn is the Twitter handle. So I'm going to go through the usual announcements. It's ! membership to check out our Premier Club package, which is our best value membership package. And we have the Razer Phone 2 and 6 months membership competition still going on. It's Win Razer. And other announcements. So the big one, I guess, is Friday, which happens to be our 6th.
There's a Friday this week.
There is a Friday this week.
My favourite day.
And on that Friday, Old School turns 6 years old, which is obviously excellent. ! Birthday to find out what we're going to be up to.
I can't believe the 5th birthday was a year ago. That stream was
I can't believe a year took a year. Oh.
shorter than that.
What's freaky is there's a slice of cake in the kitchen on this floor with what looks like a candle in the shape of a 5 on it, and I really hope it is not that cake that's been lying around since.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, we're going to be doing a special 2-hour stream on the Friday. I think the details for that are shown when you do ! Birthday.
I can't believe it's been 6 years. That is crazy.
Yeah, it does
Honestly.
feel like a long time.
Not in the scale of RuneScape's longevity.
No, this is true. Still relatively
I think
young, but
Heard of it.
The thing I like about it is that it was 6 years from 2007, like our archive point, to 2013 when Old School came out. And take another 6 years beyond that. It's really nice to know that there's now as much as 6 years of my work in Old School, like there's those 6 years in the other game. I like equaling it.
yeah.
Also, as Mod Rock pointed out earlier, that if you take out the number of extra call fixes we've done, we're now up to our 300th release, which equates to 50 a year, which is mad.
It's a lot of work.
And that's taken out the weeks over Christmas. You see, okay, we've pretty much got one every single week.
I mean, it's safe to say at this point, sort of Old School's no longer in its infancy. It's sort of mature as a game at this point. I mean, 6 years is quite a long time for any game to be around and successful still. So, quite an achievement.
We can pour over the nostalgia on Friday.
We will.
Yeah, well, that's happening on Friday. We'll be doing it for 2 hours. And you can expect all sorts of things on that, like a data stream from Mod Nasty, our product analyst, and all sorts of other things. Right, in the meantime, I'm going to announce Deadman, there's some information for you here. I know you guys have been waiting a long time for it, so I'll just get this out to you. The spring finals are confirmed to be running from Saturday, March the 23rd, for a week until March the 30th, with the summer season launching once the finals end as usual. Unfortunately, because of the situation between ourselves and the venue, we're not going to be able to have a live audience at the time. But you can expect more updates on the content and things that are going to be involved in the season as soon as possible. But yeah, we just wanted to give you that announcement. Right, so we'll move on to other things that are happening this week. I'd like to show off something that was suggested to us by Gentle Tractor, which we're going to be including in the qual poll for this week, I believe. If we can bring that up, that would be awesome. So what do we make of this, guys?
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I think we all like it.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at here exactly? Ash, would you care to explain?
That is the quest side panel, the diary side panel, the minigame grouping side panel. Thanks for bringing it back again. And that's my face. Currently, the one side panel slot is used for lots of different side panels with little buttons to switch between them. And on mobile, there's some arrows that go from side to side to scroll through them, but nobody's very fond of those. Mr. Tractor, or Ms. Tractor, I've never been entirely sure, has designed this way of doing it with tabs. For what it's worth, they're separate interfaces and they're going to have to stay separate interfaces. So when you switch between them, it's not going to be as lag-free as when you switch between your bank tabs or tabs on other interfaces we've got. But it won't get any slower than switching between them currently is. And we think it will be something that will help you very much. So we'd like to offer that. The raiding party one's a slightly unusual addition to that, in that that's really only relevant if you're raiding. And having that tab be there all the time when you're not raiding might be kind of gratuitous and unhelpful. So we might not have that one hanging around when you're not in Chambers of Xeric.
But if you are there, would we potentially add it as that fifth tab in that style?
That seems to be the popular approach for it. I mean, taking away your access to your quest list is not of interest to us. It's not like you're in the Chambers of Xeric, you can't see your quest list. You might read something about sheep herder and it might put you off your olm. No, we're very happy to let you have that information in there. Obviously, the minigame teleports won't be getting you out of the Chambers of Xeric, just as they don't teleport you out of any other instances either. But we're fine with you having access to it in there.
Sure.
We just took away the side panel because we wanted to use it for the other thing.
I think we concluded we wouldn't necessarily want a character summary in the same tab, just to avoid things getting too cramped in there. That might be better placed in something like the account management tab. But while we sort of explore the options, I think we're going with that first option on the left to poll, and then sort of explore from there what the best way to go about it is.
I wouldn't have been sorry if the account summaries were the 6th tab, to be honest. But that might be a bigger change than we're looking to make right now.
Yeah.
So perhaps you can clarify exactly what was written into the poll, if it wasn't all the pictures that they're being shown at the moment.
I believe we will be showing off that picture on the left, and the question is going to be worded, should the quest tab be changed to a tab system as shown here, or something similar? I think with the proviso that, yeah, we could add other things if and when there is demand.
I know everyone wants 3 because they love the character summary, but it is worth noting that obviously we can add that later, but that's an additional job that's going to take a non-insignificant amount of time to actually develop on top of that.
And yet, you've shown them the picture now. Surely that was something you had on the table.
It's totally on the table, like we say, but I think, to make sure there was going to be space for other stuff this qual week, we wanted to offer the one on the left for the time being, which we know we can do.
And once we've got a tab system like that, we can add another
Upgrade
one
it, yeah.
easily at a later date.
Sure. So I'm going to move on to this week's update and what players can expect. Bruno, would you care to summarise what we've got going on?
So yeah, this week we're releasing the changes with auto casting as well as remembering what combat style you are using. So if a weapon has a different category and you got multiple weapons, so for example you got a two-handed sword and you got a mace, if you select that two-handed sword to slash and give you strength XP, and then you change to a mace and decide actually I want to train defense, so you switch it to defense and then you switch back to the two-handed sword, it will, instead of saving you at the the defense mode, it'll just go back to what it used to be. This also works for the auto casting, so if you're doing something which requires you to, I don't know, ice barrage, and you're constantly switching weapons, then when you equip your wand, you'll be already ice barraging, which is quite nice.
Yeah, very handy.
Very nice.
Can you clarify which areas it does and doesn't work in?
Yeah, the regular weapons work everywhere, however the auto-casting only works in safe areas like non-PvP areas, so if you go in the wilderness, that won't work as polled.
Excellent. I know we're also doing the rest of the combat and skilling week qual changes.
Yep.
I think one of the other big ones I would say is the auto processes. Do you want to say what we've got?
Yeah, so we're automizing a lot of the things that people don't like to do, like cracking coconuts, filling water cans, that sort of stuff. And we're also doing a very useful thing, which is automating the enchant jewelry spells. So if you're enchanting like 27 ruby rings, because the Ring of Forging will also be free to play as of this update. So if you're enchanting 27 rings, you'd have to click every single one of them at the same time, or continuously. You can just click one, and although it's slower, it will do them all as you go on, much like every Herblore, for example, which does it all.
So if you, once you've got the process going by using the items once, it'll either you can carry on using them manually as fast as you can click, for those of you who are really good at clicking fast. But if you don't mind it going a fair bit slower, and we really do mean a fair bit slower, you can just let it keep running at its own pace and it will do the rest for you. So this means you don't get a faster XP method or a faster process coming into the game, but because if you're going still manually clicking, it's pretty much not changed. That's been done for, like Bruno says, the watering cans, smashing coconuts, putting the coconut milk in a vial, I think.
Those are most of it, yeah.
Oh, and Serum 207.
Those as well.
Yes.
There's 3 processes for that one that didn't have a make X on them. One of them did have a make X, and we've left that one completely alone because it didn't need anything doing there.
Excellent. So all of that is coming in addition to the 6th birthday event. I don't know if you want to give a very brief teaser about what that might involve.
Sure. It's just a little event to celebrate the 6th birthday and give you an opportunity to get a reward and, of course, unlock all the previous birthday rewards, because we do have to offer those, including the Gangnam Style dance, I think it is.
Yep.
Pretty kind of demonstrate.
I'm afraid I don't quite remember. You made the 4th birthday event, so I think that is your concept.
Tables have turned.
Certainly cannot.
Don't ask the animator.
Lots of great dance.
It would look too much like twerking if I tried.
I mean, in all honesty, an artist had to be the one who put the animation together. So
Nope.
Seems unlikely we're going to have a volunteer.
Right, so anywho, you know, in the Falador party room, there's a museum of big updates through the ages. Mod West has kindly added the 6th bay in there with the big updates from the last 12 months. Hint, there's my arms down there, and with his wife. And in the kind of gallery overlooking that section, there is a little disco party section where the familiar faces from the older parts of the game have come to celebrate the birthday. So if you want to see the wise old man rocking out, he's down there, trying to outdo the Duke of Lumbridge. It's kind of even there. And as befits a birthday party, it's the oldest and most, I suppose, notorious quest would be Cook's Assistant. So the Lumbridge chef has also turned up down there, and he would like a little assistance catering this party because he never can cater a party. So a little tribute to our oldest quest there to get you your rewards. You can start this event tomorrow after the update, which is due about 11:30 in the morning, by going to the museum under Falador Party Room and talking to the cook there. Don't talk to him in Lumbridge, it won't help.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Ash. So I'm going to move on to the questions that we have this week, the first of which comes from Busy. And they ask, when are we going to see the Hosidius rework that Mod West flashed back in October? Well, it's funny that you ask because we have Mod West here with us.
Perfect timing.
We are expecting to do that. It's scheduled for mid to late March, I believe, is when we've penciled it in.
That's the aim.
And I think, if we ask very nicely, Mod West might be able to demonstrate what it currently looks like.
I have something very pretty to show, so I'm going to head over to the sofa, off the sofa to the... I'm going to stop talking as well. 'Cause you can hear me. Yeah, cool.
Excellent.
It's always great when somebody says they've got something to show you and starts fiddling with their garments. Especially who said he flashed last year.
Yeah. So it's been through a few iterations, I believe, already, but hopefully this one is going to be the one. I'm very excited for it. I think it looks great. Filler. Right, I think Mod West is good to go. So we're going to swap over to you, and he'll show off what you can expect from the Hosidius rework.
So, hi everyone, so as you can see here, we got like a nice little GIF showing you Hosidius through the ages. So this starts back in release of January 2016, and it just shows all the changes that we've made over the years. And now I'm going to head into game and just sort of give a little tour around what I've been working on. So, as you may all know, this is the Zaya dock. I'm just going to slowly move into the new entrance area. So I've decided to make this a bit grander. I've got some statues representing each of the houses of Korend, with a nice little character in each one of them. We've got a new little building here and a tower. You know, just some things to sort of make this area feel a little less empty. And I'm just going to head down this long road here into the castle area. So I'm just going to lift up a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't move much faster. This is the top speed I can go at, but I mean. Oh yeah, I'll talk about that. So these are, I've sort of put these around the area a little bit, just to sort of mingle the different houses with each other. So the Shazian have set up some tents around the place, just as like a patrol, just to keep the area safe, as a sort of a little bit of essentially police in this regard. I'm just going to keep going down this long road to the castle, but I can teleport, can't I? There we go. So yeah, just outside of the councillors' houses, we've got this new little park area. So down here we got a nice little park and like a little memorial to, I don't know, some long dead king. We've got a nice little pond over there and a little camp for some wayfarers. These are musicians who are coming from the music guild, which is something that doesn't exist in game yet, but is something that we've been speaking about in hints here and there, so that's cool. Here are the new houses for the councillors. So previously the councillors were sort of just all over the place, but we wanted to sort of bring them all together and make it a bit more sense and make the castle feel a bit more established in the world. And I've also lifted the castle up a little bit to give it a bit more of an imposing feel, as you can see with the various different layers here and over there as well. But this is mostly the same, it's just slightly higher with this wall around the outside. So now I'm going to head to the south, and this is going to take me past the mess, and the mess has had a severe reduction in size, and the entrances are slightly easier to get into as well. So if I just go in there to remove the roof, as you can see, it's a bit cozier in there. You know, they're still demanding their food, as they usually do, and the chefs are in there cooking. They're probably going to be walking quite strange because the content still isn't completely adapted to the rearrangement of most of these areas, so I won't spend too long looking at that, just in case. And south of the mess, Watson's house is still a thing, but it's had quite a bit of a makeover. He's now looking quite a bit more, you know, he's got some building, you know, rooms, you know, as you'd expect in a house. He's got like a diner, a kitchen, and he's even got like a bed as well, which I don't think he had before, so that's quite handy. Yeah, Watson never sleeps. He's too busy giving out all those Master Clue scrolls. So now I'm going to head over to the east a little bit. So this is where the Hosidius kitchen is, where you get your lovely boosts. And again, what I've been trying to do with all these buildings is trying to give them a unique feel. Because the main issue with Hosidius was lots of the buildings sort of felt copy and pasted. It was quite difficult to really tell where you were when you were walking around. So the idea here is to sort of give it its own sort of unique vibe. And, you know, just bring space between all the buildings as well and sort of give it that sort of old school feel. So now I'm going to head further east, and this will bring us into the sort of the new localized area of Hesidius. So what I've attempted to do here is take all the sort of important buildings and houses around, sort of just bring them all closer together. So we've got some lovely little greenhouses lying around here and there, and a nice little central area for the market. So these are where all the stores you'd expect to find. We've got the bank here, some other things just lying around. We've got the pub. Again, that's sort of the same shape and layout as the previous pub. It's just a little bit smaller, and it's got its own little orchard in the background for all the cider, and a nice little park to drink with all your friends, if that's what you want to do. And I mean, the rest of this town is fairly straightforward. We've got the estate agent. He's up here now. We've got the general store, and over here to the south we have Lord Hesidius' house. Again, that's got a fairly big upgrade. He's quite rich, it makes sense. And to the opposite there we have the church, which I've made it again look a bit more church-like. We've got a nice stained glass window, etc. The south of here, this is all pretty much the same as it used to be. So the plough fields, a little farmer's house. I think this is one of the master farmers. Oh, that's the chief farmer. The master farmers are in the town somewhere. Those are still thievable, and you can still lock them in buildings, so that should still be good. We've got the house portal, and being as there didn't really seem to be a point to have two churches almost like in shouting distance, I decided to turn this church into more of like a little forest camp for the monks to hang out in. And yeah, just this area in general was fairly similar. I just sort of added some more scenery and stuff like that. And the south coast as well is fairly much the same, so don't worry about your implings and your sand crabs, they're all pretty much all the same. So this is where the cooking store was, and this has been replaced with the cooking store's been moved, and now we have like a mine and some ruins. And then over here we have the shrunken tithe farm, which I've made sure it's still possible for at least 2 people to be doing this at once. And this is considerably smaller now, which is fantastic. And now I'm going to head over to the vinery. So this I've changed quite considerably. As you can see, the previous assets were quite large, so I wanted to bring it more in line with what you'd expect a vineyard to look like. So we have some. There's still the same amount of spots here. There's some like scenery ones that you can't really interact with. These are probably Lord Hesidius's or something, and then the ones that you'll be using are just in the centre there, as you'd expect. And there's also some changes to the saltpeter area to the west. So here's like. I decided to bring the saltpeter sort of closer together and add like a little area for sort of essentially the saltpeter company to just sort of operate out of. Well, you know, for want of a better name. So yeah, you got the clerk here, which is the lady you donate all your saltpeter to for the Hesidius favour. And again, these saltpeters have just sort of been made a bit more central. And the bank here has now been replaced with an old ruined castle with some lovely skeletons inside. So the entrance to the catacombs is still in the same place, so you will have to go slightly further for your banking. You'll have to go to the north and bank in the Hesidius kitchens, as the bank that was there before has now been moved over to the town, as you saw earlier. So that's just sort of like a quick, brief overview of all the changes to Hesidius. And yeah, I think it's still really starting to come together, and I'm really looking forward to sort of doing similar changes to some of the other houses as well that have a sort of flow and design problem. So yeah, that's the Hesidius rework, and it's been a great joy to be working on, and hopefully you like what you see.
So this is actually already past the poll. So anyone who likes the look of that can rest assured that's actually going in. Like we say. Not a poll just yet, my mistake. We're going to poll that soon. It's going to come in, well, March, like we say, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think that looks really good. I noticed you've used some new scenery we haven't actually seen before.
Oh yeah, there's been a... don't want to flash too much. Yeah, I've made like a new wall kit and some various assets here and there, just to add some stuff to the... I want to struggle with this. This is very fiddly. I
really liked the look of the stonework bridge in particular. I think that looked great. New buildings as well. Look nice.
The previous wall kit was a bit of a strange one because it was slightly shorter than every other wall kit we've had. So if you were to actually, if roofs were rendered when you were in there, the roofs would be clipping with your head a little bit. So I made them a little bit taller to match with the rest of the world.
Sure. And it's not just sort of aesthetics as well in terms of the map layout. It's a bit more functional, I believe.
For sure. Yeah. Right. So there's more flow to the area, and it just feels a bit more like the rest of the mainland. which is really what I think the players have been asking for a while now.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. So I'm going to crack on with the questions then. So the first one coming from a player called James, who asks if we can smith our own pickaxes. Given that we can already smith woodcutting axes, this would make sense and be useful for Iron Men.
Did that come from a quest back in the day?
Yeah, it did. It was like one of the dwarf quests, I think.
I don't know why we ever cared to look at behind quests.
Don't know why it wasn't off to begin with.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
Any particular reason we don't? I can't remember. Well, I don't know of a reason.
I don't believe RS Classic had the whole range of pickaxes to begin with.
How would we feel about offering this or doing this?
The other way people get it is through the shop in, I think it's, yeah, the Dwarven area. Or they're just getting it from a monster, which, I mean, there's no reason not to, I guess.
It does feel a little incomplete, it not being possible.
In terms of it devaluing existing content, buying a rune pickaxe from is probably still going to be easier than getting the levels to smith one oneself. So even if it is something that Iron players would benefit from, I don't think it's an incredibly huge help for most of them unless they happen to have that smithing level and mining level.
And if they can get that far without using a pickaxe,
Yeah.
that'd be quite impressive.
I imagine we'd probably put the levels at like the current existing thing, but just the same level-ish about as woodcutting axes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So to get a rune axe, you're probably in like 80-something smithing. You'd be very surprised if you didn't have 80-odd smithing, but no rune axe.
Yeah, that'd be impressive.
Okay, all right, so we'll be open to that. Question from The Wild is, can you add a Shasian soldier that tells you how many Lizardman shamans you've killed in the Lizardman temple?
Oh, so we have one of those in the Lizardman cave, right? It's not in the temple.
Yes.
I think the counter that they used to have used to count all lizard men, not specifically the shamans, unless somebody's added one that just does the shamans since then that I didn't know about, but I don't think they have.
No.
Yeah. I know there is an NPC in the temple already, the
Yeah.
infiltrator,
Yep.
who will stop you if you don't have enough favour. Maybe we could have him tell you what your kill count is.
Oh, on that subject, in tomorrow's update, he's going to actually stop turning up and shouting at you if you try to cast magical use chin chompers in the chambers of Xeric because he's not there. Sorry about that one, we're going to get that fixed.
Okay. Well, I'll give that one a hard maybe then. I don't see any reason not to do it. If there's enough demand, enough people wanting to know how long it's been before they've gotten their Warhammer, fine.
Of course, they won't be able to backtrack all your other previous kills.
They're generally used to that, and I've not so far seen them have too much trouble with that. I think they're mostly happy to get a counter anyway.
Sounds good.
Great. I have a question from Ayeza, whoever that is, who wants to know if we can get a better idea of the anticipated XP rates of the skills used against Zalcano. So for anyone who doesn't know, Zalcano is the name of the skilling boss that's going to be introduced with Prif after Song of the Elves. And I think the skills involved in taking it down are runecrafting, mining and smithing, I believe, is the design. I'll answer this one on Ed's behalf, which is it's not meant to be a training method. Don't expect high XP rates. We've said before they'll be minimal. I don't think we have an exact figure yet expected, but we're talking like only a couple K XP per hour for these things.
It's more about the rewards. Like, you don't go to bosses to train, so you go there for the rewards. So that's the sort of thing we're trying to emulate.
Think of it as like going to Bandos. You don't go to Bandos to train your strength level. Same way. Obviously, you're getting XP, but you don't go there for that reason.
Okay, there's a few comments mentioning Winter Todd, and that's the sort of thing we want to learn from, because that sort of removes the necessity for ever really doing any sort of maple or below sort of training. So.
Yes, it's going to be
quite strong.
I've just missed what Ayeza said in chat. There's something more to that question. See if we can chase what he said. There was more to the question. Is it comparable to Winter Todd, minimal or less than that?
Oh, so minimal would be the answer.
I expect to be a lot more minimal. You won't be getting 250 XP an hour there.
Yeah. No, it really is sort of reward centric. It's going to be resources and rewards and tangible assets rather than XP is the focus. Breakfast asks, are there plans to complete some of the older quest lines? In particular, Rise of the Red Axe is left on a massive cliffhanger, and it'd be a shame not to wrap that up.
Oh, just us. The mornings, the Elf series had been left incomplete and is now being completed. I see no reason why we couldn't do something similar with the other ones. Admittedly, there's tended to be more interest in the desert quests and the great big gap in the map that is Menethos.
Yeah.
Possibly it's more visible than the Keldgrim stories, but it would be nice to do something with it. And then there's the matter of Zanuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like the Dwarf series.
In the case of Zanuck, if we did give the Land of the Goblins, because that was nearly complete in development in August 2007, so we could take what's in the archive, complete it, fix the known bugs from its original launch, and give it back to you. I just don't remember it being all that great, because it led to an amazing cliffhanger where Zanuck got into a box and the lid shut, and that was the end of that. Of course, not everyone liked Zanuck, so maybe that would do.
Maybe that's the new ending. That's it.
Yeah. Rest in peace in a box.
Cool. Does anyone have a favourite quest line in particular that they would prefer to be the first one we wrap
Would you
up
like to talk
after?
about Desert Treasure again, because you've talked about it before?
Yeah, I talked about that a few years ago, but I've sort of lost the sort of idea with that. I think Ed's got some better ideas, so I'm happy to hear what he's going to...
Well, certainly some of the dungeons that you pitched for it, we then used for Dragon Slayer 2.
that was the sort of thing that sort of was a bit wrong with the Desert Treasure sequel, because it wasn't so much a sequel rather than a sort of an homage to it, so it had the sort of similar sort of layout where you went to 4 different places and forts and bosses.
It's unlikely to be called Desert Treasure 2, by the way, because the story doesn't really lend itself to that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I think in terms of the first storyline we're going to finish is going to be Song of the Elves, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Assuming it passes its poll. But that'll be a full, complete storyline from Plague Sea all the way through.
Poll for that should be coming fairly soon, once Qual Month is out of the way.
For me personally, I'm really keen on the Sea Slug line, and would be happy to see that wrapped up soon, maybe next even. But
To be fair, my favourite was the Monkey Madness line.
Yep.
I think we're essentially done with that. Although we didn't quite confirm whether Gluff was dead. He just cut away. But
Well, Morningstar,
essentially we finished that storyline.
Morningstar in the chat was asking about one big favour.
Yeah, that's come up a few times, and
Yeah.
that's a funny one to continue.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Funny for us, maybe not so funny for them.
Well, titles are endless, like Return of the Favour, for a few favours more, things like that.
Yeah.
I'll make a mini quest, which is another small favour, and it's likely just, can you go outside and get this, please? Thanks.
Ellie Workshop 3.
Ellie?
Elemental.
Oh, that kind of Ellie.
They've finished the sort of the body
Divine
blind
Workshop.
outfit.
well, I guess there isn't going to be a Divine Workshop. But anyway.
Not anymore.
I'll move on to a question from Mario, who asks if we would consider adding distractions and diversions to Old School.
We have a few, don't we? I mean, technically a clue scroll is a distraction version, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which ones were they wanting in particular?
It was just an open question. I'm seeing a lot of no in chat, and I kind of anticipated this, maybe because it...
I think the problem is they have this sort of connotation with, they think distraction and diversion is purely penguin hide and seek, and I don't think they want penguin hide
I
and
think the biggest distinction is the daily nature, the weekly nature of what a lot of distractions and diversions are known for, while clue scrolls, to all definitions of distraction and diversion, that's exactly what they are. But they are presented in a fashion that it allows you to mix up your gameplay, but you don't feel forced to go and do it. So I believe there is a place, it's more like a random event, to be honest, where, for an example, there was one in RuneScape, I'm not sure how popular it is, but it's called The Pit. So when you do your agility training, every now and then, randomly while you're training agility by the conventional training method for agility, you will get called over to take part in this little extra game and get some nice XP. And it breaks up your agility training, gives you something slightly interesting to look forward to. But it's presented in a way that doesn't force you to do it.
The Gorilla Mask, correct?
Yeah.
That was cool, I like that.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I mean, we also have implings. Technically, they're sort of distractions and diversions. If you walk past an impling, you're going to be, oh, I'm going to go grab that. And it's a very small distraction, but it's still a very well executed distraction and diversion. So more things like that.
In all honesty, I'm not just talking about the pit itself, by the way. I'm talking about more the method of how we deliver a D&D, regardless whether you like the pit itself.
Oh, evil trees as well. I like those. Those
Yes.
were well done.
Yeah.
I liked the. I thought the shooting stars were good. But that's personally because I'm not big into mining. But it was nice if you're doing a thing and then you run across that. Okay, some nice XP.
Yeah, those were cool.
I just remember with the evil tree, if you were walking almost anywhere, you'd be likely to trip the thing that made the roots grab you.
Yeah.
And then you'd feel, oh, I've got to do this, otherwise I'm missing out. So you have to run there as fast as possible, hope it's
Yeah.
still fairly healthy.
That was always a bit scary when I was young, just walking around and there's like massive vine thing coming at you.
Yeah.
It depends on the content, whether it's achievable to do that sort of thing. It's hard to do. It's hard to think of something that could work across the whole mining skill. When you're actually mining a rock, what could happen that would...
Well, that was the sort of the shooting stars.
The shooting stars thing, but...
They dropped in such obscure places that no one was ever
They
really
took
trained.
you away from mining places a fair bit, because you probably weren't mining in the place where it was going to turn up.
Yeah.
And while you could use your POH to find out where it was going to be, that's really not the same as briefly having a distraction from your mining.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas if mining the rock, occasionally you found you found something at the rock, then that's something that breaks up your mining if you were responding to that. And I don't mean a smoking rock.
What about when you're mining, occasionally you dig a little hole, a hole falls through, you can click in there, you enter a little cavern, and there's like there's some special thing to mine in there. Get some extra rewards or something.
Okay.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Mining sinkholes.
So the next question from Tig is there a chance of damage at the Winter Todd being rescaled so it doesn't punish higher leveled players?
Well, I was about to say there isn't anyone in the team who's using a level 10, so a level 10 HP account, so that shouldn't be controversial.
We were discussing this a while ago, didn't we? I think the solution we sort of came up with was adding a warmth meter,
Yes.
and that essentially more acts as your life points, hit points. Oops. Now everyone's going to jump on me for saying life points instead of hit points.
My personal feel is that Winter Todd's already very powerful, and I wouldn't necessarily want to make it easier or better, even if the scaling is a bit odd in the way it works. I think it's already very strong. I wouldn't necessarily nerf it, but I wouldn't necessarily look to buff it either. But that's where I'm at on Winter Todd.
Yeah.
The other option is to have a sort of a food item that would only work in Winter Todd that would scale based on your health as well. But
That's the thing, it's not about buffing or nerfing it, it's that at the moment, if you are low level HP, you're kind of immune, and if you've trained your combat by choosing not to restrict yourself, then you get hit a lot, and it makes the Winter Todd worse for you. So changing the formula so that either everyone's immune, I know it comes across as a buff, but is arguably something that's already there, just only for low level people, or introducing something so that everybody has to deal with damage in some way, it really does seem preferable.
it would also be nice to mix up the meta for hardcore Iron Men as well, because currently most hardcore Iron Men are like 10 HP, 99 fire making, and then they die, and then they're just another dead hardcore with 99 fire making, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it is the immediate go-to for, well, a fresh Iron Man, isn't it?
A lot of hardcores die at Winter Todd. A serious amount.
But at the same time, I think majority of the slots on the front page are people with 200 mil, so
Yeah,
because a lot of them do it.
yeah, straight up.
Lunch Guy asks, well, they say the Beekeeper random event was disabled for mobile users a while ago. It gives a weak reward compared to the effort required, so could it be disabled for desktop users as well? This would make it a little more likely that players get a useful random event like the Genie or Dr. Jekyll. What's our stance on the Beekeeper event?
I would be rather glad if we get a female version of its outfit so that we could give that as a reward. And the version of the Beekeeper event in RS3 from about 2009 onwards was a lot more solvable for humans than the any version Old School's ever had. So that would be an alternative way to go if players wanted the outfit.
Yeah, I'd be up for making a adjusted female variant.
Nice.
Given the the shape of the Beekeeper outfit, frankly, you can't easily tell whether it's a male or female.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually did it for the first time the other day. I tend to just dismiss but I thought I'd give it
Now
a go.
you know why.
And now I know, yeah, now I know exactly why.
Yep.
Do you not just dismiss every random that isn't the genie or the exam?
I tend to do Leo's one, because I find that fun, actually, sorting out the coffins.
You find that?
You find that fun? Yeah. What on earth is wrong with you?
What are your hobbies, dare I ask?
To be fair, that's one that you do the most because it's got all the emotes as well as the outfit.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of rewards from that one.
Maze is pretty good because of the rewards.
Oh, yeah.
I would still like to do the thing where we remove the ops on the fake walls.
I think we did that.
Did we do it?
Yeah, because it was literally impossible for mobile to actually.
I'd like to do it on desktop as well. I've seen no reason for it to exist at this point.
I remember there was someone on Reddit at the time who was stuck in the maze, just indefinitely. So, at the time.
1-star review.
I hope they got out. Some say they're still trying to solve the maze. Jimmy wants us to increase the speed of the bone grinder at the Ectofuntus. They say that the wilderness altar has made every other prayer training method obsolete.
That one has the risk there, doesn't it? And if we were to make the Ectofuntus even easier, then it would sort of devalue your personal gilded altars, which I'm not really a fan of.
It has not made other prayer training methods obsolete either.
Yeah.
They are all widely done. Gilded altar is widely trained on. And Soul Heads is widely used.
Yep.
I mean, I just did that for 99 prayer myself. But I'd say obviously the one that isn't used very much is Ecto. We currently have the feature of Robin from the diaries who does some automatically for you. I don't think that's very widely used. Perhaps we could look at improving that, and then you don't even need to use the bone grinder.
Yeah, he doesn't do many, and it's sort of a daily which you don't really get much out of, so I don't think many people do it all.
I mean, I use the Ectofuntus a lot, but I am an Iron Man,
Yeah.
and I prefer that over using gilded altar.
Yeah, I don't think people go to the Ectofuntus for XP. I think they go more because it's a lot cheaper, and I mean, you do get some like bone crushers.
Iron Men do, because they want to maximise what they get out of their
Exactly.
bones.
I don't have to say it, by the way, because the chat's doing it for me. It's fantastic.
Okay, so Vegeta asks if we can rebalance. Is that? I haven't just fallen into a trap there, have I?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Wait, what was that?
No,
again?
Vegeta. I think that's safe. I'm all right.
Not sure to hove edges.
Asks if we can rebalance maces, short swords, battle axes, and warhammers to make them more viable.
I don't think battle axes need changing, but I would like to look at the short swords and... Wait, was it short swords on there?
Yeah, short swords.
Yeah, short swords and maces do not have really any role as it stands.
I think it's just difficult, though, to give them a niche. There's always going to be a best one-handed weapon at that level.
Back in the day, maces were given a +1 prayer
Yeah.
just to give them something distinct and unique use. As we know from the next decade, it didn't achieve that, but maybe a bigger one would have.
It'd be nice if there was a closer balance between Slash, Step, and Crush's best in slots.
Yeah.
I'm fine with obviously Crush being slower and whatnot if we really want it to be, but
Yeah, there's just such a big difference between that speed. It just makes the difference.
yeah, the other problem with slower weapons is overhitting. It lowers your DPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the battle axes are one higher hit than scimitars, but obviously the one tick slower, so you're never going to want to use it.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe, but then balancing is tricky. Is our
And it's also
answer to that.
a big change to the sort of old school vibe, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people will be naysayers for that reason.
I think whatever we change, the scimitar will remain the standard best in slot.
If you can make something
Called
better than
out.
the scimitar, that'll be even more interesting.
The same player has asked if we would consider making fletching free to play. I think we've talked about this idea before, allowing them to make the first sort of few bows up to maybe Willow or so.
I'd be interested in knowing how players even feel about the idea of a skill becoming free to play after all these years of it not being.
Yeah, yeah, it
I
looks
mean,
like a strong.
And if so, why fletching?
Why fletch?
I mean, I presume they want the bows in this particular case, but mostly you train fletching by making a whole load of bows that you then out for the money.
Yeah.
This is not the best gameplay we have.
I mean, it would sort of finish that sort of
Yeah.
triangle, because obviously you can make runes and you can make swords and stuff.
Pluto says give them agility.
Mm.
See what the chat says about that one.
That probably would be a more useful one, but still.
Well, we were saying, apparently on a recent live stream, we talked about how run energy was a problem in the free-to-play game.
Yeah,
What is the difference, like, that agility has on energy?
It's quite a substantial difference. It doesn't impact how fast it drains, it impacts how fast it recovers.
Okay.
I think it goes from something like 1 every 12 ticks at level 1 to something like 1 in every 4 at 99. Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. It is listed on the wiki page.
Does it scale evenly from 1 to 99? I can't
I
actually.
believe
I
so.
do remember a myth saying it goes up, well, I don't know if it's a myth, I remember being told it goes up every 6 levels, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
That's
there's a divide by 6 factor, so
okay.
With that in mind, would we, if we were to consider something like this, could we say up to level 30 or so, would make maybe free to play a little bit less?
potentially, but it's also likely that you can go both ways. I mean, free to play is very limited on training methods, much like runecrafting.
Yeah.
You can do 99 runecrafting, but you don't really want to.
Now that I think about it,
Mind runes.
can you even train agility in a free-to-play area? Because there's no...
Not at level 1.
Yeah.
A course would have to be added.
Yeah.
That ain't exactly hard, of course, but they can't access the gnome one.
Yeah.
And the lowest level course in the free-to-play area is the level 10 drainer rooftop,
Yeah.
which obviously isn't a starting point for them.
Unless they want a genie lamp all the way.
Yeah, I imagine they don't want a genie lamp like some people.
I've seen Lumbridge.
So, I mean, how do people actually feel about the idea of like a skill like agility being free to play?
Would they be open to a straw poll? Hello.
Yeah, so Mod Lenny, who's kindly doing chat for us today, apologies for not giving him the credit for that earlier.
And this comes into the discussion about how run energy is quite a problem in free to play as well. That you guys know how frustrating it is when you walk anywhere. I brought it up in the last Q&A. This is why you buy stamina potions, and you do that even at 70 agility. Imagine being limited to 1. And so we got to think about this in terms of also how many new players we got coming in from mobile as well, who are getting frustrated by this, and it's an annoying part of the game. So,
And navigation in general in free-to-play is considerably lacking compared to pay-to-play.
yeah, so this is about trying to alleviate some of these problems without stepping over all the problems that we don't want to ruin stamina potions and their place in the game, etc.
Plus, it wouldn't even be giving them something that members haven't had to struggle through, because if it were done, if their transport difficulties were addressed in this way, they'd have to grind just like you did, only without access to perhaps the same courses. So you might still be, I think you'd still be winning from your membership.
Okay, so
Also, if we did this because, like, in terms of you're getting a benefit versus not getting a benefit, we do sort of, if we felt we were giving too much to free to play, people wouldn't be signing up for a membership. And we're doing this, obviously, in the lens of we want the game to succeed and grow. We wouldn't do it if we didn't think it would benefit membership at the end of the day.
And ultimately, we don't want to push something on the game that you guys aren't comfortable with.
Yeah.
But we'd be interested to see what you make of this, because there were a lot more, well, there was a lot more yes in the chat than there was for fletching, anywho.
Is that last, like, I don't know what to call it, a Twitch, what do you call it? Not emojis, are they? What are they called?
it's Boaty.
Is it
that
Boaty?
thing.
No, the golden one, the golden player.
Oh.
one. Is that
why though?
Is that an user thing? Because if that's why, that's hilarious. It looks a bit like it. I can't tell. Anyway,
Interesting.
All right, I'm aware that we're running out
it
of...
is why they.
Yeah, it is why though.
It's incredible. I love it.
I'm aware that we're running out of time pretty quick, so I'm going to blast
Sorry.
through some chat questions. First one being, can we get a toggle to untrim skill capes? This is going to get downvoted to oblivion. I saw a suggestion, I'll add to it or amend it, which was could we have the option to just untrim the first skill cape that we receive, so that it still has the, oh, this is the first cape I got.
We'd
without-
almost certainly have done that if we had records of which was the first cape you'd received.
Right.
Okay, legitimate question then, because obviously we can't track your first 99. We wouldn't be able to do it retroactively for everyone who already has them, and that's most of you, I imagine, who've got a 99. Should we start tracking it and doing it for future people?
I don't think that'll pass a poll, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think it would either. It'd be a good thing, I think,
Yeah.
but
Not based on that.
Is there a way to currently keep your untrimmed cape by dropping it?
yeah.
Yeah,
there
there's
is
like a
method.
hacky way by like going to a free-to-play world, dropping it, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly close.
So the results are in on the straw poll we did. We asked, would you like to see agility made free to play? We just went for a yes, no, and 68% of you have said yes, with 32% of you saying no.
And if we were to offer it with the kind of restrictions that the chat was talking about, like capping at level 30 or the course not being as good as one's members can get to, which I think we do anyway, players might feel a bit more comfortable with the change even than they were able to see from that poll.
Oh, maybe that's something we should strongly consider then.
Interesting.
So yeah, on the topic of skill capes, yeah, you can keep them through, like Mod Bruno says, a kind of hacky way. But that's all there is for the time being.
I mean, it would be a shame for people with the 99 untrimmed slay capes. So always quite impressive. And what are the other impressive ones? I guess HP is sort of impressive.
No, because most people, if they do slay all the way through, they end up getting 99 HP first.
Oh right, oh of course.
That's what I did at least. So.
I'll move on to the next question then. We have one specifically for Mod Bruno, which is, are there any updates on your comp list?
Yeah, I've still been having a look at it. There's no big updates. It's sort of still just there. I might try and pitch something to you guys on a Q&A and give it a full look on the Q&A so you guys can like talk about it, so it gets a little bit more reception. I did make a tweet about it in like August, but it's been quite a while, so some people might have forgot about it.
We have a question which is, can some purpose be added to the Legends Guild dungeon?
Oh, I'd like that.
What's down there at the minute?
Shadow Warriors and Pit Scorpions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a thought long and hard back in the day. How can this is a Legends Guild top end quest, and that's what they added.
Is there anything special about the Shadow Warriors?
Well, it was reputed that they had a really good chance at the gem table and thus the really rare tables in RS Classic, and that was probably true at the time. Since then, Goraks are a thing, so not so much. And I think Pit Scorpions were meant to be a really good combat training space, but they're not. So, no, there isn't.
I did have a design that was sort of encourage people killing shadow creatures, and that was sort of ties into the desert treasure thing we spoke about earlier.
Okay.
That's I mean, that might go away into helping that as well.
Yeah, cool. I think their only good use is when you have a Scorpion task from like Turiel, so you just go in there, cannon them all because they're all low HP and quick.
So you're on Turiel, but you're...
Yeah, in the Legends.
I suppose it's because you Turieled to get rid of a task you did.
Yeah, that's the method.
Generally got quite low counts though. So
it's not very useful at all.
Yeah.
So, did the players say what they wanted in there, or just something?
Could something be done with it? I guess the answer is yes, we would like to.
Black Graceful.
Right, so I'm going to call it there. I notice we're at 6, so I think that brings us about to the end of the stream. Just a couple of reminders. It's !new mod to welcome Mod Acorn, who's on Jagex Acorn on Twitter. So you can follow her and see what she gets up to. !birthday for details about the birthday stream. It's obviously Old School's 6th birthday, and we'll be streaming for 2 hours on Friday to talk all about it. And I guess that about wraps things up for us. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and for everyone joining me here on the sofa this week, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can anyone tell me why 6 is afraid of 7? Anyone?
Fantastic artwork, both inside and out. Old School RuneScape character in his neck.
Because 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, how about this one? How many Cook's assistants?
2, more like tickety boom.
You just kicked and you don't even care. Who was playing that stupid game? You've got a family to think of now.
RuneScape's my family.
That about sums up this week's Old School RuneScape Q&A. Now, if you want some real data, be sure to tune into our 6th birthday live stream on February the 22nd.